And yo, the Sports Bag Bros podcast is back on, just coming off of a weekend. This is Monday. If you're used to watching us, we have shows from Monday and Thursday. Well, two shows, not from, but just 2 days a week. Monday and Thursday, we're coming off of a weekend. Of course, there was a lot of preseason football. The next week is the third and final week of preseason play, and no one's going to care. But we did care about some of these other things. But for this particular show, we're going to go back a little bit. Well, last week, ESPN came up with their list of the top college players of all time, all-American players, the best of the best,
I didn't
from
even know
top
that.
to bottom, in their opinion. So it at least gave us an idea because, of course, no one agrees with them all the time. They're not even sports too much
Didn't give
anymore.
me no idea. I didn't even know about it till you mentioned it before.
Exactly. I mean, it gave me an idea of, hell, let's just do this. Well,
I
actually, you
had
the one who
this
said let's
idea
do
on
this.
Friday before you mentioned it. So
You were the one who said let's do this, and before whatever. But anyway, in light of that, we're going to do this.
So
What's up?
you know what? If you think I'm against ESPN, I kind of am, because I stopped watching Sports Center. I stopped watching highlights when they decided to make the news instead of report the news.
Absolutely.
So right here, ESPN, F you.
It's just like mainstream media. All of them are doing the same. They're always telling you, man, things have changed so much over the decades with ESPN when it was the true leader of sports. Not so much anymore. Everybody has an opinion, and you do love sports opinions, but then when they start making the news something different than what it really is, it kind of turns you off. And they decide they want to just take certain sides one way or the other, turns you off even more. But hell, we got our own list. Let's see if we can turn somebody on with this damn list. Offense, defense, the greatest college football players you could possibly come up with, however far back you can bring it from the players you know or the ones you read about. This is the list that we're going to put together today. It starts with defense because offense is always going to come down second, like the champion. They're going to be announced second in the fight. So let's go with the defense. A lot of players out there, so many players over the years. What's good?
Before we actually get started, I just want to send out apologies to the older guys who watch this video. I only go back so far. You know, I heard of the Four Horsemen. I can't tell you how good the Four Horsemen were. I heard of Bronco Nagurski. I can't tell you how great he was. The Galloping Ghost, Gale Sayers, just highlights. So we're going to do our best.
You know what I mean? And a spoiler alert, because ESPN on that list, they did have Bronco Nagurski. Come on now, get out of town. They had him on it, but you can't take away anything from him because he did play, and among his contemporaries, he was among the best, if not the best, at that time. So I know we're just going to try to do our best as well. We've watched a lot of college football. We've been college football fans, so of course we even read about those college football games.
But caveat, we're not claiming these are the best guys at each position. We're picking the starting lineup, and this is who we pick. I'm not gonna argue that this guy is the greatest of all time, although at certain positions, I don't know if you can argue that guy is not the greatest of all time.
And that may be true.
We'll find out. We'll see. Let's go.
And with so many players, of course, you're going to get that kind of a thing because in the NFL, it's a lot smaller. Fewer people have participated. And we just know because of that, watching the NFL and knowing about the NFL, there's been a lot more said about the NFL, even though once upon a time, college football was so much further ahead than the NFL. Now we have just super athletes as time has gone on, but still playing a little homage to some of the old school players if they were good enough to make the list. So let's go. Defensive line. It all begins and ends with the defensive line when you talk about defense, period. Those guys in the secondary, as great as they may be, can't be as great if that defensive line doesn't do their job for the time.
You can't cover for 8 seconds if the quarterback has all kind of time.
And that's the truth. So where are we going with defensive end?
Well, we got to start with man, for some reason I can't remember his nickname, but Reggie White. As good as he was, as great as he was in the NFL, he was just as great in college.
In Tennessee, yeah. Dominant, the minister of defense, even before.
There you go, minister of defense.
Even before he picked up the Bible, he just came.
Preacher. I was like, no, it's not preacher.
You know what? And the thing about it, you can't go wrong with him. But then, you take somebody like Randy White, as dominant as he was in college. See, we're trying to compartmentalize. We're trying not to even think about what they had done as professional players. We're trying to just keep it in college. But some players, we were talking just off the air a little while ago, some dudes just nasty. You know what I mean? Some guys
at some positions.
Man, they're just as nasty in the pros as they were in college and vice versa. So it doesn't matter. So Randy White would be.
I think DN is kind of tricky at DN and linebacker because there's so many 3-4s, you know, guys like Broderick Thomas, Derek Thomas, those guys, Trev Alberts, those guys were linebackers, but they lined up at end and rushed the quarterback almost every possession.
Yeah, so, and another thing,
not true defensive ends.
In college, you didn't get a lot of 3-4s. You got a lot of 4-4s, 4-3s, and 5-2s. You got those in college from back in the day. Because I remember Bo Schembechler's 50 slant defense. He had that as his signature defense when he was there earlier in his career. So, yeah, the college game, well, I could say much different than the pro game. Yeah, because the pro game is the pinnacle, and those are the best, the fastest. So there's a lot of things you can't do in college that you can do. You can do in college, you can't do in the NFL, and it's been proven over and over. I used to wonder why does that option quarterback? How come he's not getting a shot in the NFL? I used to wonder those kinds of things when I was younger. Why isn't Charles Thompson going to get a chance in the NFL before he went to prison? Why isn't Jamel Holloway not going to get a chance? He's a quarterback, but can't hit the broadside of a barn. That's just probably what it came down to.
I think also, you know, the hash marks, they don't have the wide side of the field in the NFL.
Yeah, that's true too.
And that makes a difference. You don't have to cover as much side to side. So running quarterbacks, just running option, not going to fare too well.
The one
too
change
much speed in the NFL.
The one change college did make that the NFL had going on was the field goals. They narrowed the field goals because back then it was so freaking wide. Like at every high school, you sort of the goalpost just wide. Anybody could kick it. Any beginner seemed like they could kick a 20-yard field goal at least. But yeah, college ball. So even though I mentioned Randy White, is he the other guy I would put on the other end of that when there's been so many defensive ends out there that you can just pick from? Definitive defensive ends, because in college you're running the legitimate 4-4, or you're running the 4-3, or you even having 3 tackles in it and having a 5-2. And so, man, it's I'm doing it off the top.
For me, on the other side, I'm going to go with a true sack master, Dwight Freeney.
I thought about Dwight Freeney, man, but I was also wondering, man, you know what? Robert Mathis was also that good, but he played at a lower level. He played at Alabama A&M, and we know him. He's getting into the Hall of Fame. He's in the Black College Football Hall of Fame. In fact, I think he is in the NFL Hall of Fame. Dwight Freeney, certainly. But the one thing that left Dwight Freeney off a list or even really considering him was the way Bryant McKinnie just shut him down. Just absolutely shut him down when he played him. You know, guys that just like Tasmanian devils, no matter who's in front of him, even though that was Dwight Freeney, but he had his kryptonite, and it was Bryant McKinnie as a collegiate player. Now, I'm sure if they got together in the NFL, he would have had McKinnie on skates, but he didn't. But let me see, that defensive end that I would come up with. Come on, how could I not be a Cane fan and without looking at one of these defensive linemen from the Canes, defensive end? Rusty Medeiros would have been another one of my guys, but no, you know, I think I will just go with Randy White. Forget about it. Just keep it simple. Go with Randy White on the other side from Maryland. Let's rock with him on the other side.
We're going Randy White in college too. I know he was a badass, but I don't know if he's. I don't know. I prefer Freeney. I mean, I don't know. I'll give you Randy White. You're gonna have
Danny White, I don't want him either. Damn cowboy.
You're gonna have to give me. I'm giving you Randy, so you're gonna have to give one to me later.
Yeah, we have a long way to go with that. Okay, right. We have our defensive tackles.
I think we're gonna have at least one the same, and the second one can pick from a few different people.
I'm serious, for real.
I think you got to go in Ndamukong Suh. He was just so dominant.
Man, I swear I've never seen a more dominant defensive lineman in college, because typically when you see these defensive linemen, they do a lot of the dirty work, but the camera's not on them. And then when the commentators talk about them, they rewind it and you see, oh, damn, he was dominant. And Ndamukong Suh, you didn't have to wait for the commentators. He was blowing it up all the time. He was bull rushing you, and the power that he had. That's why I thought he was a no-brainer Hall of Famer coming out, going into college. He just going into the pros. He just changed a little bit, and the pros got a little psycho started doing other things, but he was still pretty damn good in the pros. It wasn't like he was
He became a little too violent in the NFL. And
too violent in the NFL. That makes it crazy. He was and Ndamukong Suh, no freaking question. All you had to do was look at him. And there's been hellified defensive linemen. Warren Sapp being another one of them, as dominant as they come, but not like Ndamukong Suh.
Yeah, so for the other position, I think Sapp's in the conversation.
Oh, he is.
I think Sapp, Tommy Harris. I remember Tommy Harris,
bro,
coming to Oklahoma as a freshman. He was shut freshman down, man. That's why I think I would give Tommy a slight edge over Sapp because he made an immediate impact. But you can't forget Dorsey.
Oh, which Dorsey?
LSU.
Oh, I mean, LSU had a bunch with Marcus Spears, Dorsey. You know what? Even Chad Lavallee, as a collegiate player, he went late in the draft, I think 5th round, but he was also in the national championship game. He was pretty damn good. I mean, I've seen him because I watched.
I just remember Dorsey was shutting shit down, man.
Yeah, but and when you're doing it in the SEC, they put more of a magnifying glass on you, anyways. But yeah, and man, we could just go through because we can even talk about the way, even though it was a lower level of play at Louisville, Ted Washington was an absolute, he just a sofa in the middle of the defense. You couldn't do anything with him. And, I know he got picked by the 49ers and he didn't play well with the 49ers initially when he had gotten drafted, but he morphed into this immovable object. You couldn't do anything with him, and he became an absolutely dominant player because of it. But yeah, shoot, that second spot, I mean, I can see that. The second defensive tackle spot.
So who are you thinking?
I'm thinking, you know what, man, we talked about it even last week when we first brought this up. I think, even off the air, Miami has had so many of those dudes on that defensive line.
Yeah.
So whether it was Sapp, whether it was Cortez Kennedy, I mean, there's so many of those defensive linemen that they had that you could just pick them. Oh man, I mean, God, Jerome Brown. I mean, and Jerome Brown's known more for walking off with the fatigues before playing Penn State, even though he was still dominant. But shoot, man. And Ndamukong Suh, and I think you can go with who would be the defensive tackle, because man, there's been so many. That's what I'm saying. It makes it so difficult to just come up with anybody because I could say Ted Washington, but only because he played with Louisville, it takes away a little bit. Oh, guys. And I like
For
that.
me, it's between Harris and Dorsey.
Oh, well, you know what? I'll rock with Harris. The reason why, because as a true freshman, when we talk about players coming to college football, you talk about whether they can adjust to the game. And you wonder about the running back position, or even last year we saw Jeremiah Smith up there at Ohio State as a wide receiver. The trenches, man, is where you got to be a grown-ass man from jump. You got a redshirt most times. And this dude came in as a true freshman in the trenches on the defensive side, going against sophomores, juniors, and seniors, trying to keep him in check. And he just dominates as a true freshman.
He was a handful, man. He was a handful.
Him and Adrian Peterson for Oklahoma, true freshmen that just come in and act like nothing happened. So, yeah, you got to rock with Tommy Harris. I'm glad you brought him up. That's someone I thought about, but in the back, I wasn't thinking about it in the front. But when you look at the entirety of what he had done as a true freshman, that
for me, it was like immediate impact. That's why.
Immediate impact. And then he started having the little injuries, but that dude still was making it happen. The Bears picked him up in the draft, didn't they?
They did. And the only reason Bears lost to the Colts in the Super Bowl was because Tommy Harris wasn't playing. He was injured.
His injuries, man, college injuries a little bit, just like Adrian Peterson started having college injuries, but these guys were such bell cows and on defense and offense that, it's bound to happen. But yeah, man, Tommy Harris, man.
I shouldn't say that's the only reason. Rex Grossman fumbling and throwing
Rex Grossman, man.
But
all right, so we have the two defensive linemen or two defensive tackles. We have the two defensive ends, and then now linebackers. So many linebackers over the freaking years, man. It's just, this is a difficult list to come up with. I mean, I decided to wing it because I know I've watched a lot of these guys over the decades.
To me, there are two obvious choices. Two obvious choices
at linebacker?
Yeah. One, he's got the award named after him. The Butkus Award. Dick Butkus Award. You got to put him at middle linebacker.
God, yeah. You know what? I'm glad you said Dick Butkus, because the deal is this, and we're compartmentalizing. Like I said, Dick Butkus in college was a better college player than Ray Lewis. Now we changed it differently when we talked about our top NFL players. It was Ray Lewis. So this is the difference between a collegiate player and a pro player, and how one player can be better. They're both great, regardless of how you look at it.
When the guy plays at a level so high, they say, "Man, we got to create an award with his name."
The Butkus Award. Hey, they gave you a Lombardi trophy because of what he had done. You
Right.
now have a Butkus Award.
That guy's special, so he got to be at middle linebacker.
Oh, absolutely. I can not argue it, because I was one time I was actually thinking about what's his name, Marvin Jones, Shade Tree, Florida State. Bro, that dude was an absolute beast as a true freshman. I remember the stories. That's why they called him Shade Tree during the conditioning. But Dick Butkus, and he's a hell of a hitter in college, at least. He oh my God, that dude was a hell of a hitter. He caught Steve McGuire from the Canes after Michael Barrow blasted Tyrek Vanover. So it was just something. But yeah, man, I'm glad that you said Dick Butkus, because legitimately is Dick Butkus. And going back to that, the comparison with what Ray Lewis did in college and what he had done in the pros, the Canes' best linebacker, if you ask Canes fans, as a Cane, might have been Dan Morgan. And I'm saying, I'll stick with it. Dan Morgan, as a collegiate player, was the best linebacker at Miami.
Yeah, where did Ray get drafted? Like,
he was the first round.
I know, but like middle first round, late first round,
the last quarter of the round.
That's what I thought. Like, nobody thought he was gonna become Ray Lewis.
He came in at 218 pounds. He was in the draft at 218
everyone knew he was a good linebacker, but no one expected him to be an all-time great linebacker.
Exactly, because I watched him at Miami. He made plays that stood out, but it wasn't these outrageous plays you just said, God, because even when I saw Marvin Jones was an absolute freak of nature out there playing for Florida State. And you saw it was noticeable when Ray Lewis got out there. He made plays. He had that tenacity, but I guess being 218 pounds on draft day, so he was even lighter playing for the Canes when he was playing. He was tenacious, Tasmanian devil, everywhere all the time, trying to get the big hit. But, now when he got to the NFL, he gets up to 250 plus pounds, still with the same speed. They changed, and that's why he became the better NFL player than a collegiate player. Like, a lot of the great ones are going to, but Dick Butkus, definitely, I can live with that one. Now we have one of the outside linebackers.
I'll let you say it. We'll see.
The outside linebacker. See, LT just is LT.
He's the other obvious one.
LT is just LT. It is not. He was a great pro. Nah, bro. He even started playing football.
Back then, whoever knew North Carolina had a football program?
Everybody playing basketball, exactly. and they talk these stories about how Lawrence Taylor talked to Michael Jordan back when they were in North Carolina. Well, I was like, did they even kind of meet up? But yeah, they did. But I don't know about these stories. Have they been embellished over time, or are they legit? But yeah, Lawrence Taylor, how can you not? And there's been so many other great outside linebackers. I mean, even inside linebackers, but still, Dick Butkus, certainly the guy you need to have in college, and that's why they have the award name for him. Lawrence Taylor, they don't need an award name for him. They just changed defense, changed offenses, period, because of him. That's his signature. Who changed offenses in the NFL?
They probably came up with the imbalanced line.
The imbalanced offensive line.
Yeah,
the imbalanced formation. Yeah, I remember. You had the extra freaking guard or tackle. And then just I wouldn't be surprised. But LT was still getting past that. So who would be on the other side? Because that's somebody.
So I don't know if this is going to surprise you or not, but I think Luke Kuechly deserves some consideration.
Man, he deserves consideration, but does he belong there?
That dude just made plays, man. Plays.
That dude made
tackles and tackles and tackles.
And that's what made me kind of wonder, because I was like, yo, bro, when I saw his stats, because I remember his high school stats, because I was, on top of it, because I was doing the recruiting thing back in the day. And I remember being on top of him, and I used to see his numbers. I was like, somebody's fudging the numbers, man. Get out of here. And then when he gets to Boston College, he's making 18 tackles. I'm like, man, they probably got a statistician out there that's probably, he's next to the tackle. Let's give it to him. No one's going to look at it. But then the dude gets to the NFL, a lot of the same things. And then you hear these other people talking about how he may be the smartest player they've ever met. I mean, he knew everything that was happening on the football field, and then had the athleticism to do everything that he had done. And then was even smart enough to get out on the top of his game and have all his faculties that we know right now. Hey, but yeah, Luke Kuechly.
You talk about sideline to sideline.
But you know, I'm thinking that there's got to be other linebackers out there. I mean, I don't want to take anything from him, but damn, man, we're talking about a boatload of freaking linebackers that were out there. Defense, linebackers from college. Shoot, man. I'm just going down the list in my head, and I'm trying to say, okay, who's better than Kuechly? You may not have too many better than him. You may have some that are just as good or a smidgen below. But man, that's a hard hit.
Like I alluded to earlier, like true linebacker position, that's Kuechly. But if you want to bring up Derek Thomas, the guys who rush the quarterback, that's not really Kuechly's forte. Man. But I think he's more of a true linebacker.
See, he's more of a true linebacker. Then you look at the numbers, if you want to go by the numbers, or you just look at the glamour part of it, or the team he played with, Boston College, not necessarily a football team, a football team that you look at in awe and say they pump out plays. They hit plays every now and then. But if you want to just talk about numbers and how guys just play, they just, Zach Thomas, when he was at Texas Tech, was a freaking pit bull, even at 5'10". Or Dat Win, who played for Texas A&M. Yeah. How this dude was getting like 200 tackles a season, 220 tackles in a season. A Vietnamese linebacker.
Junior Seau.
Junior Seau out there in USC. So you got all these, there's just so many guys to choose from. And luckily, guys like Butkus and guys like LT, they were just so damn good as pros that you could just say what the hell you want and put them in a college spot and there shouldn't be no problems. And right now, there aren't any problems. But going through, there was so many linebackers we could just, go down a freaking list. And I'm still going down the damn list of linebackers. I was going to say Ken Norton Jr. at UCLA, but he was good, not great. And some of these guys that probably didn't go in the first round. As far as the defensive lineman, would Chris Zorich be somebody because of what was going on with Notre Dame that time with the defense? People like Chris Zorich. He was an overachiever. But he probably not making it. He wasn't All-American.
He was no Tommy Harris. He was no Warren Sapp.
He was a nose guard. So
I don't even think he deserves mention on this show, man. Come on, edit that out. Edit that out.
Chris Zorich was a hell of a player back then. I used to hate him, but then started liking him, even though I didn't like Notre Dame.
We're picking the starting lineup, not a team of good players.
Hell, he made an All-American team. That's one of the requisites, at least for ESPN. But man. That Kuechly pick sounds damn good, but those other damn guys, man. I mean, there's just so many guys. Andy Katzenmoyer. I mean, forget the SAT scores or the lack of them. But the dude was a hell of a player, man. He was in college, but he was an inside linebacker. But he could play any spot. Shoot. So yeah, I guess we could go with Luke Kuechly. So I'm kind of like leaning on your picks right now. You did your homework. I'm just winging it here, talking about other players. So now we just got to go back to the secondary, and we start off with one corner. Come on, man. I mean, but is it a no-brainer that is Deion?
I think so. When you talk about, what he can do as a corner, what he can do as a return man, I mean, if he got the ball in his hands, watch out. He's thinking the house every time.
Yeah, and because I wanted to see what was going to qualify for this kind of a list. Like ESPN said, you had to be a first-team All-American at least once, and so if that was the requisite, you gotta it kind of narrows it down so those second-team All-American guys don't count. But then I was thinking about that kid Dre Bly years ago for North Carolina as a redshirt freshman. He had over 10 interceptions. But that also shows you how much they picked on his ass. So they was trying to break him. And then afterwards, he didn't play he didn't make as many picks. He wasn't as solid. Still got to the NFL, but wasn't anything special. But that's what I was thinking about. Is it because they got a lot of interceptions? But typically, getting that many interceptions means they kept picking on you because they didn't believe you were a threat. And at 5'9", they didn't think he was a threat. So Deion certainly on that one side. So we got another side to go to. And who would be that other side?
I don't know. This one might be kind of an upset, but I like Honey Badger, man. That dude.
In college, he was hellified.
He wasn't afraid.
Well, when you have a nickname as the Honey Badger, when you get the nickname of a Honey Badger, those little bastards, those guys, the most fearless animals on the planet, it seems. These dudes. They don't care. They fight lions, they fight tigers, they fight bears, whatever. They do everything. But a Honey Badger, I don't think you can go wrong with him. But you had Peterson that played at LSU.
I'm being handed a note. It says, I'm only saying that because I'm a Nebraska guy and I don't want to say Charles Woodson.
Because Charles Woodson's the one I'm thinking about. That's who I thought you was going to come with. Charles Woodson, hey, he played corner. We know that. He was the first defensive player, I guess, quote unquote, because he was catching passes and he was running kickoffs and punts. And he just happens to be an official defensive back. And when he went to the NFL, that's what he had done too. So can't go wrong with that. But, man, there's so many defensive backs out there. I mean, Darrell Reeves at Pitt, I don't know. I mean,
Rod Woodson, was he better in college than he was as a pro?
You know what? There are players like that, and he was damn good as a pro.
Right.
You know,
he's a Hall of Famer in the pros.
Yeah, exactly. But it was
I'm pretty sure he's in the college Hall of Fame as well.
Age and injury is what changed his position from corner to safety. I think it was the
once he got older, but he had a good amount of years at corner.
For absolutely. That's what he made his bones.
I just think Honey Badger, because it was chaos with him back there in the defense. You know, you think you got a first down, he comes and knocks the ball loose. That's what you want. We need takeaways.
And that's true. Man, but God, just go down a list of defensive backs or cornerbacks in the past. Fred Smoot, who talked about like being Deion Sanders. In fact, I thought it was D'Angelo. What's the name? What was it? D'Angelo, what's the name that played? D'Angelo Hall. They thought he would be the next Deion Sanders coming out of Virginia Tech. But because in Virginia Tech, he was so damn good. But then, you got to go by what kind of talent did they play against. And of course, if you're talking about the Honey Badger, they played in the SEC, where they now have quarterbacks that can throw the ball. And some of these quarterbacks that are physical and still can throw the ball. And he was there, and he supports and run in the run. Right. He could do the run as well. But what's that cat that played at Ohio State? Winfield. He played with the Minnesota Vikings.
Antonio Winfield?
Yeah, he was pretty damn good as a corner in Ohio State.
Yeah.
Damn good. That dude was offense defense. Chris Gamble, another one.
Champ Bailey was good in college too.
Oh, was he good? That dude was phenomenal in college.
I'm just saying we considered Champ for the NFL.
Exactly, man. He was a nickel back in the grade.
For college as well.
Absolutely, man. The way he killed it out there in college, man. Damn, there's just so many dudes to pick from. I don't know. After we're done with this, we're gonna come up with something else about all the different players.
Like I thought about a lot of guys, but I settled on Honey Badger, so it's hard for me to come off of him. If you got somebody better, I mean,
somebody as good or better. I mean, Champ Bailey, I think, would be as good as better because he was just as good an athlete. I think he was faster, and he also stood up against the run as well. He wasn't afraid to get after it. But man, I know there's just so many other defensive backs.
I can go with Champ. I can
rock with Champ, but Champ Bailey, man, he was just.
That's my dog's name. So.
Oh, Champ! Let's go, Champ!
Let's go, Champ!
Let's go, Champ, for real. And, he's a quasi-local guy here in the Jacksonville area, coming from Charlton County up there in Georgia, just about 45 minutes away from here. Watch him play, but I didn't watch him play when he played. But yeah, he owns the city up there. Forget about it. He had a brother, Boss Bailey, who had a vertical of like 42 or 45 inches, but he had so much athleticism, but wasn't as good a player. And, he played a little bit for the NFL and at Georgia, but didn't become what Champ became. But yeah, so we'll rock with that. So safety-wise, now there's a lot of safeties out there, man, that college-wise, and they transitioned to the NFL. They didn't skip a beat.
There's one guy, he made our NFL team. He might make this one, but I'm not going to say his name. I'm going to go with Roy Williams.
Roy Williams, the defensive back?
Oklahoma.
Yeah, I'm saying the defensive back, right?
Went to the Cowboys. Yeah, not the wide receiver.
Yeah, I know that. I know Roy Williams with that's a Premier. Yeah, that guy with the Detroit. A long story about him too.
From Texas.
Yeah, but I know he was.
Roy Williams, the safety from Oklahoma.
Shoot, man, how I would be remiss as a Canes fan not to talk about Ed Reed, man. Come on,
he's the other guy. I alluded to him.
Oh, okay. This guy changed games. I mean, he changed the complexion of games with his own ability. I mean, it was him, and he was the reason why they won games. And not too many people do that. And of course, he did in the NFL, got himself 2 Super Bowls, a legendary player in a Hall of Fame, but as a collegiate player, he didn't have to be a huge hitter. He was a hitter because he was willing to hit, but it wasn't like Ronnie Lott smashing somebody, or even Sean Taylor smashing somebody, another guy who could be on the list. But I think that Ed Reed in front of Sean Taylor, if there were going to be two Canes. And so, and Roy Williams, I kind of forgot about him from back in the day. People, I think a lot of people might have just forgotten, but yeah, man, big hitters.
And just for the record, see, I got 2 Oklahoma Sooners on this list.
So you're not hating.
You can't say I'm biased. My name is biased, but I'm not biased.
And that's true. That's true, man. 2 Oklahoma guys. Tommy Harris, man. That's not necessarily a blast from the past, but a dude I thought about way back. But damn, when you just think about it, and I've always known and I've always admired that he was able to do this as a true freshman in the trenches. That's always something special if you could do that as a defensive tackle.
Can you imagine Ndamukong Suh and Tommy Harris on the same defensive line?
Man, we'd be saying the same things we talked about our defense for the NFL.
3 and out.
Do that with him.
3 and out.
3 and out. 3 and out. 3 and out. And then you look at that secondary. What are you going to throw it? Come on, man.
Then you got punted to Deion.
Your shotgun is going to be freaking at the punting spot. That's your shotgun is going to be. You're going to be back there catching punts and shot, to get time to throw the ball. But yeah, there's another defensive lineman who was, I think he did make an All-American. He did go in the first round of the NFL draft, but the youngest player ever to play a college football game, 16 years old, Amobi Okoye from Louisville, defensive tackle, 16 years old.
That's crazy.
That's insane, man. Because he was just a brainiac. But he didn't even start playing football until he came from Africa, the whole deal. But yeah, he wouldn't be on that list. But yeah, just somebody threw out there. He ended up getting some type of disease later on. It just made him lose weight and things just went downhill quick. But yeah, so your second guy in the secondary would be who?
I agree with Ed Reed.
Yeah, Ed Reed. Yeah, Ed Reed and Roy Williams, because Roy Williams is a big thumper, man. He can thump.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about it. Even someone decide to run out of option or read option in the spread or even the traditional wishbone or full house, somebody's getting lit. Either way, all bets are off. So that's the defense right there. And do we have a punter?
A punter?
Yeah. Yo, bro, we got to get a freaking punter out there.
What's the dude from West Virginia, Sauerbrunn?
Yo, bro, that's exactly what I was thinking. Because when Steve Spray was complaining about him possibly having helium in the balls, you knew something was around. He has never heard that. Balls, and that dude was putting that joint so freaking high. Oh, yo, something's wrong, man. What's up with this guy? Todd Sauerbrunn was putting it out in orbit. It was crazy what he was doing. I don't know where his career went. He probably went out in space as well. But yeah, Todd Sauerbrunn, he was putting the hell out of that football, man. Yeah, even when Florida was killing him. Oh, yo, I don't know, man. And I've never seen anything like it since. Seriously. I've gone to so many games, man. You look at the ball, and I just hadn't seen anything like it since. As simple as that.
The Bears drafted him, and for some reason, he didn't kick the ball as far in the NFL as he did in college.
Probably because of that windy ass city up there. It's pretty difficult kicking the ball. But you think with a strong leg like that, it shouldn't matter. But
yeah,
apparently there's a more nuance. And
he wasn't a bad punter, but he wasn't like a game.
He wasn't that superstar he was in college when people noticed the freaking punter. Shoot. So all right now, so we can kind of are we gonna do kickoff returners? Or we just say that for offense? Kickoff return, punt returners, kickoff returners, special team.
We got Deion already.
Oh, Deion. You know what? As far as it got,
unless you want a specific one, then I'm gonna go with Rocket.
That's exactly what I was gonna go with, man. Damn, yeah. Bro. As much as I love Devin Hester, Rocket as a collegiate player was a pain in the ass. As a Canes fan, I did not want to see that boy with the ball. And of course, if you're a Colorado fan, you damn sure didn't want to see him with the ball. You better be glad they had a Fedham flag out there. But yeah, he was an absolute game changer. I remember when he burst on the scene with those 2 kickoff returns against Michigan. And then you know what he did against Colorado, the Orange Bowl, but everything in between, though. Even when they threw him in the backfield to play running back, he was getting 10 and 15 yards a pop. At 175 pounds, Rocket was sick.
Rocket was feared, man.
Oh, he was by fans, fans of the other team, because I didn't like him. Oh, yo, don't kick it to him. I hope we can get him.
Like he could take it to the house at any moment, man.
Anytime.
He was like Hester in the NFL, but in college.
That's what he was, and he was that guy. When I went to my first NFL draft, at the 11th hour, he ends up going to Toronto and playing for the Argonauts of the Canadian Football League. And then the Dallas Cowboys had to scramble. My first NFL draft, they had to scramble to find the first-round pick, and they came up with Russell Maryland. Even though he was a Cane, I was like, he's not the #1 pick overall, but they took him. I thought he was a top 5 pick, but #1 overall, absolutely not. But you know what? Old Chicago guy found his way down to Miami, became the number 1 pick. In the same year, they lost to freaking BYU and Ty Detman in the first game of the season. But hey, Rocket Ishmael took off, took the money, came back a little later as the Raiders. I think the Raiders took him in the 100th pick overall and kept that pick. And when he came to the NFL, they had him.
So to recap, defensive ends, Reggie White and Randy White.
Yes.
Defensive tackles,
White boys.
Sue. Huh?
Call them the white boys.
Oh, Ndamukong Suh and Tommy Harris. Yes. Linebackers, middle linebacker. The man has the award named after him, Dick Butkus.
Yes.
Lawrence Taylor, another no-brainer, and Luke Kuechly. Guys just sideline to sideline, tackle after tackle. Cornerbacks, primetime, shutdown corner, and Champ Bailey, another shutdown corner.
Yeah,
maybe didn't cause as many turnovers as Honey Badger, but
my man's a box of cereal.
But when you gotta cover all-time great receivers, maybe cover skills are more important than causing turnovers after they catch the ball.
Yep.
Then that's our corners, right? Safeties, we got Roy Williams and Ed Reed.
Yep, Ed Reed. Then we got the kickoff returner is going to be Rocket.
Roy Williams, the safety from Oklahoma, not the wide receiver from Texas.
Yeah, people are going to say, hey, he went to Detroit, didn't he?
Travis was a little confused at first. Our punter is what was his first name? Is it Eric Sauerbrunn?
Todd Sauerbrunn.
I don't remember his first name. Todd Sauerbrunn.
That damn leg, bro.
Then
in college, at least.
Our return man was the Rocket, Rajiv.
Yeah,
Ishmael.
Of course, Raghib Ishmael. And how about from Pennsylvania, of all places? He had his brother Quadri who played for the Syracuse. They call him the middle.
Right.
He was as fast.
His mom was the launching pad.
His mom was the launching pad. His mom was Fatma. That was her name, Fatma Ishmael. But let me see. And the kicker. I mean, bro, there's two kickers. When I'm talking about, I think 2 kickers come to mind when I'm thinking about an All-American team of all time. 2 kickers, and based on their strong legs and just with their consistency.
So we're gonna start the offense with kicker.
Yeah, well, you might as well start the offense with kicker because we gotta work our way down, work our way up.
Who you saying, Janikowski?
Yeah, Janikowski. My 2 choices, I think, was Martin Gramatica and Janikowski, because Martin Gramatica hit that 65-yarder years ago. He always had that powerful leg. And then, of course, the celebrations on that craziness he did. Yeah, that's what brought him attention. But the dude was kicking 65-yarders, the first one to do it when they used to use the pancake or the tee. He didn't use anything but the carpet, because he played with Kansas State. And 65 yards in college, man. We're just talking about a 70-yarder in the NFL. All these years later, this dude was kicking 65-yarders back then.
I think I prefer Janikowski.
Janikowski. Anytime you have a 260-plus pound kicker, bro, I guess if they did put him out there for 70 yards, he probably would have done it. I think he'd have just never had a chance to do it, because he had a big freaking leg. Craziness. Yeah. And I heard about him possibly going to the Hall of Fame, and I don't think that would be a mistake. I think that would be okay.
College or pro?
No, pro. NFL Hall of Fame. If they're going to pick kickers, I mean, there's a handful of kickers now that we know could go. Like Gary Anderson, he can go. We know that Justin Tucker is going to eventually go. There's a handful of them. My man here in Jacksonville keep kicking them 70-yarders. In about another 20 years, he'll be in there.
You got to do it in a real game, though.
Yeah, I know. But, hey, you know what? He only missed 2 field goals last year, so with a longer 59. So it's like things are looking up for him. So, yeah.
So now we got kicker out of the way. We gotta get our formation down. We're going 3 wide, one back.
Damn. Because I don't think run and shoot would be the thing. So, damn. You want to do 2 backs, 2 receivers? So you can get your tight ends in there?
I don't know.
Sheesh.
It's up to you. We're gonna be able to run on that defense.
That's another thing too. We're gonna be able to depend on who's in that backfield.
We might have to spread them out, man, and get those big guys.
Spread them out.
Cover a lot of space.
You use 3 receivers. You can't have 2 backs in the backfield and still have your tight end. God. Because the tight end is going to be,
but I mean, do we really want a fullback? Do we need a fullback?
But you're talking about 2 backs that can just freaking get it anyways. You know what I mean? Like, for
so
instance,
we're going to have a running back, 2 running backs.
Barry Sanders and Herschel Walker back there. In fact, that's what ESPN had, but that's what I was thinking. But I had to think about it in a different context because Barry Sanders and Herschel Walker, Barry only played 1 season at that 1 position.
That's why ESPN ain't shit, because they're going to say you have to at least be an All-American. But Archie Griffin was a 2-time Heisman winner. You cannot top that. The only one in history. So you cannot leave him off your starting lineup in college.
But on the other side of that, even though the accolade is there, the most prestigious college award, at least it used to be, I don't know what it is anymore, man. It's like a popularity contest now. But watching him play, the eyeball test, did he look the part for back then or at all times?
Before my time, I just know he won 2 Heisman.
That's what I know.
That
I didn't sit there and watch him. And I know he went to the Bengals afterwards, and they picked him actually late in the first round, not even an early pick. But to think about, I
mean, honestly, if I'm gonna pick a running back, I'm probably going Gale Sayers.
But what, out of Kansas?
Yeah, but Archie Griffin, 2-time Heisman, you can't top that.
I know, but we look at
that's my guy. I gave you one, you give me Archie.
Okay, you know what? Damn, I didn't want to give that one. Yes, because because even Barry Sanders, the eyeball test, no doubt. We look at the numbers.
I'm not even saying he's better than Barry,
and that's true too. But I'm saying, what kind of context that we put in here? Like ESPN had to be a first-team All-American. That was the requisite. And this
he's a 2-time Heisman.
From the eyeball test, though, watch it from the video. Even the videos I watch, his highlights are like, oh, okay, he's a good runner. Barry's videos are outrageous. Herschel Walker's videos are outrageous. And then you even look at Marcus Dupree. You look at Herschel, look at Bo Jackson. Even if you want to even talk about more contemporary Derrick Henry, you go back to look at Sean Alexander at Alabama. I mean, you just go back so many running backs.
The list goes on and on.
The list goes on and on of guys who look absolutely phenomenal. I know at one point, Ricky freaking Irvins looked like he was a special back at USC years back.
Those guys that didn't win Heismans that were badasses probably should have.
And that's true.
Marshall Faulk.
Because Marshall Faulk in the beginning, like I was saying before, in the beginning, I thought it was like he's playing the whack. Those defenses are terrible. They all whack like their conference. But then against Miami, he ran on Miami's ass just like he ran on anybody else's. Not as much, but he showed it. He came like a dog. He had the speed. And those dudes even gave him respect after that game. So my problem with Marshall Faulk, at least from what I thought he was, just an overhyped guy on the West Coast, to being what he did against Miami when Miami was good and known for speed. Yeah, I took him off the list of overrated, took him off the list. So yeah, he's legit. And he proved it more than anything. He should have gotten the Heisman, didn't get it. But there's another running back, Troy Davis, who had back-to-back 2,000-yard seasons for Iowa State, but his team could barely crack 500. So now what?
If a tree falls in the forest, does anybody hear
it? That's exactly what it was. And he played in the major conference, playing in I think it was still the Big 8 back then. So, and he didn't, nothing. Then his brother Jason comes in, doesn't get $2,000, but picks up where he left off. 2 Miami guys up there. So, I mean, there's just so many situations like that. Byron Hanspard down at Texas Tech, over 2,000 yards.
There's a name from the past.
Yeah. Well, his name is he had a 0.0 GPA. What the hell? And he was a Pentecostal minister. I don't know. Maybe with the Sunday school, didn't go anywhere else. That's probably about it. School was over. But he had a 2,000-yard season.
You mentioned some guys. I'll take Lawrence Phillips over a bunch of them.
No, Lawrence Phillips. No, come on. Lawrence Phillips is a no-brainer against freaking Troy Davis. I mean, you put him in that same offensive line that Troy Davis had. He probably get 3,000 yards. I don't know.
I mean, I think his junior year, he actually did run for 1,800 yards.
His junior year or sophomore year?
Sophomore.
Yeah, because that junior year is when he had all the issues and he had to leave.
Yeah, he didn't stay for his senior year. You're right.
And Amon Green came in and was standing up like nothing happened. It's like he didn't drop off at all. Amon Green came in and just doing his thing. But man, with running backs you go through a litany of, Ricky Williams for that matter.
Yeah.
As a collegiate running back. I was talking about a triumvirate of running backs in the past. I mean, you look at what LSU had when they had Cecil the Diesel Collins and Rondell Mealy and Kevin Falk, those three. Then you look at the three guys that were in Auburn with Brandon Jacobs, Cadillac Williams, and Ronnie Brown. Bro, they came in threes. It's like death.
Does Ricky still have the record?
Does Ricky still have I don't think so. No, isn't. You know what? God, how do I not know? You would think somebody like Christian McCaffrey might have broken it because they're adding these bowl games. But damn, I might have to check it out.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I'm going Archie Griffin. You just can't beat two Heismans.
And that's true. So, and with that said, I guess can you have two little guys back there, or you just throw Herschel Walker back there for good measure? So Herschel Walker being the big guy.
I want 3 wide receivers, bro.
Oh, okay. So you want 3 wide receivers so you can get rid of that running back or that tight end. You know what I mean? So I get
rid of the running back.
Yeah, get rid of the running back. So we got to go with the wide receiver then. So you got Archie Griffin back there. You got Archie Griffin in your backfield. God, I wish I could take it back. But yeah, you got Archie Griffin in your backfield. Now you got to go with the receivers. Or do you go with the offensive line? Because that's
those are the guys. Well, it's up to you. Well, you go ahead and pick. I pick Archie, so you pick your receivers.
No, let's go offensive line because receivers and quarterbacks got to lead one to the other. Offensive line, Orlando Pace. Even though he's on ESPN's list, I don't need him to be on ESPN's list to know that Orlando Pace was that damn good as a player for in college at Ohio State.
See, so for me, the second tackle was between Pace and McKinney. I'm surprised you went with Pace, but I'll rock with Pace.
Yeah, because you have to have another tackle. That could be McKinney. I thought about Jonathan Ogden.
I'm going Anthony Munoz.
You know, that's man. But you know what? See, our requisite isn't the same as ESPN because man, I didn't even know it until I checked it out. That Anthony Munoz wasn't even an All-American, which is a first-team All-American, which is freaking insane. They talked about him being one of the greatest of all time in college. Forget the pros, and then of course they had to say it in the pros because he showed that he was, and he wasn't. Man, that had everything to do with something non-football. I don't want to hear anything about it, man. When it comes to Anthony Munoz, that's a no-brainer right there. So, and you can't go wrong. I was going to pick Bryant McKinney because he never gave up a sack, but Anthony Munoz has been there from beginning to end. Bryant McKinney came in for 2 years, coming out of Lackawanna Junior College in Pennsylvania. So, he ends up.
Apologies to John Hanna fans. Came up short right? Again.
You know, apologies to Bill Fralick fans. Bill Fralick is considered, at least an ESPN. I remember him as a Falcon, Atlanta Falcon. Then I remember him as a collegiate player. I think
my fondest memory of Fralick is WrestleMania.
Yeah, I remember that WrestleMania, man, when it was mentioning the people who were going to be in that battle royal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bill Fralick.
Sorry, I can't get that out of my mind.
I forgot all about that joint, man.
I didn't consider him.
Oh crap! Damn, Bill Fralick, man, and my father liked him. He's like, yeah, that's the man right there. Really? Thought you really like New York team? You come over with somebody for the Grits Blitz from back in the day or something. Even after that, actually. But yeah, man. So Anthony Munoz on one side, Orlando Pace on the other. You can't go freaking wrong. Forget about sacks. Even against that defense that we have against them, imagine, man. But it's going to come down to the guards now. Now, who would those two guards be?
So one, this might be a little bit of an upset, but he's an NFL Hall of Famer, and he was a true badass in college. Gene Upshaw.
Yeah. You know what? You kind of went back in the day for a guy, and I know some people like, well, he would never be stand up. He never could stand up to the players these days, but that guy for the time that he played was that damn good. I mean, he don't need us to tell him that. He need us to tell you all that. But yeah, I could see that. But man, because I did have a little bit of trouble coming up with guards because I also wanted to come up. And I wondered, could we switch? Because I was going to go with Robert Gallery was an excellent offensive lineman at Iowa, and he was drafted by the Raiders, and he was an absolute bust, but they moved him to guard, and he was a little better because of that. So how come we just move him to guard in college as well? Even though he was a great tackle, move him to guard, man. He showed that he could play a little bit of guard, and he's from Iowa, man. Those guys don't mind playing guard. Like Alan Faneca, who I talked about for the NFL. He was a damn good guard, too. But I actually thought about Vince Manawai. Vince Manawai played with Hawaii. And the reason why he came here with the Jaguars 3rd-round draft pick, but the reason why I thought about him is because they ran a run and shoot, and he didn't give up a sack in over 2,000 sacks. You're passing the ball almost every down in a run and shoot. And this dude doesn't give up a sack. But then again, who did he play against? But still, he didn't give up a sack. He gets to the NFL, he gives up sacks. Not a whole lot, but hey, you ain't in your daddy's whack anymore. I thought about Vince Manawai.
We had this other guy. We had him in the pros too, Larry Allen.
Larry Allen, yeah. Didn't he play with Sonoma State?
Yeah.
Yes, I didn't see him play in college, but knowing that he was there, knowing that what he turned out to be, that's like the diamond in the rough. You know, if the tree falls in the forest, no one's there to watch it, doesn't make a noise. Well, he made enough noise to play for the Cowboys, and now he's probably going to go to the Hall of Fame. What is he in the Hall of Fame yet? Or he'll just have to wait?
He should be if he's not.
It's such a log jam of wide receivers. Such a log jam of wide receivers that have to get in, so they're going to kind of keep some of these offensive linemen out. The glamour positions are going to keep out some of these grinders. But yeah, I can see that. Larry Allen.
Who are you rolling with?
I'm rocking with Larry Allen since you brought him up, because I was going to say Alan Faneca because it made just good sense. Or not Robert Gallery, but yeah, Alan Faneca. I mean, not Alan Faneca.
And then the second one?
Yeah, the second one would be Gene Upshaw.
Okay.
All right.
So all right, we got that settled. Larry Allen and Gene Upshaw. Now center, there's another guy got the award named after him, Dave Remington.
Jim Remington, of course, Nebraska guy. Come on.
He's got the award named after him.
He got the award named for him. What are you gonna do? And that's the truth. Because I was struggling a bit with the center deal, man. I was gonna go with Nick Mangold.
How many centers can you think of? But like, the man has the award named after him. He was that good.
I thought about Nick Mangold because
it's not like he played in the late 50s, early 60s like Butkus. He played in the 80s. It's not that long ago.
Yep, he was the damn award named after him. He dominated, absolutely. Because I only came up with a handful of like Brett Romberg. I thought about, but I was like, Brett Romberg. This is the guy who opened up the damn floodgates for the damn Ken Dorsey to get sacked. Damn near sacked and throw the damn ball away against Ohio State, even though that play should have never taken place if it wasn't for that Jerome Kersey referee. But anyways, yeah, so I could rock with that. Remington,
Jerome Kersey, he played for the Trailblazers.
No, that was his guy's name. Oh, no, what was not Jerome Kersey? It was another. It was actually what's my man's name, man? Was it Jerome Kersey?
I don't think so. He played forward for the Trailblazers.
No, but he was actually a basketball player's name.
Oh, was he? Okay. Maybe they just shared the name. I don't know.
Let me just Terry Porter. I knew it was one of those dog. It was one of those freaking Trailblazer names, man. Jerome Kersey. I got mixed up because a friend of mine that I knew a couple of years ago, he was friends with with Jerome Kersey. He was telling me some behind the scenes stories about him. Cool stories. It wasn't nothing bad. They're cool like that. But yeah, I knew it was one of those Trailblazer names, Terry Porter. It said Jerome Kersey. It's still in the same city, damn it. But yeah, man. So we got our offensive line set now. So now we got to go with the wide receivers. The floor is yours for the wide receivers, man.
I gotta go Randy Moss, man. We're gonna put him in the cat in the hat socks, and you can't catch him running down the sideline.
You know, in the beginning I had trouble with that only because he played just 2 years, but then I also remember the stories about him redshirting at Florida State and going against that All-American defense when Florida State was absolutely phenomenal, outrageous, and everything else. He was just schooling them, and Bobby Barrett almost was in tears when Randy Moss got in trouble and had to leave because he had made that promise, like, yo, you got to keep your stuff together. If you can't keep it together, you got to go. And you hear every story. It was like that dude was the best player on the field every time he was out there. And we're talking about Florida State that had nothing but first rounders on it. Seemed like every freaking year, stud first rounders, dynamite players, offense and defense. And this dude stood out like a freaking sore thumb in front of everybody. And he was just on the scout team, embarrassing people on the scout team, but you couldn't use him. But anyway, yeah, Randy Moss, I had no problem with him going to Marshall, dominating at Marshall. It didn't matter where the hell he went. He'd done the same thing everywhere else. And 2 different quarterbacks, Eric Kresser and Chad Pennington. Didn't make a difference. They did the same thing. Just throw it up. The same thing Dante Culpepper and Randall Cunningham did. Throw it up.
Put the hand up. He's
That's
open.
it. So yeah, Randy Moss certainly one of them. So you have a number. Obviously, I think that's a no-brainer. A number 2.
You're asking me, or are you gonna go?
Oh, no, I'm asking you now for number 2.
Calvin Johnson.
Calvin Johnson as a collegiate player.
Yeah.
I mean, he was. The reason why because he played at Georgia Tech and they didn't throw the ball a lot. They threw it a lot to him, but for quarterback standards, it wasn't a lot of passes. It's just that he was all they had. And it was like Keith Jackson going to Oklahoma. The dude was a damn tight end that was awesome, but he goes to Oklahoma, who's running the option. You're like, what the hell is he doing? Go somewhere where they throw the forward pass, but he still becomes a first rounder because of it. But yeah, Calvin Johnson, that's a pretty interesting pick.
I mean, I'm open. Like, I'm hard on Moss. I'm kind of open on Johnson. We still got a third one anyway.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely good on Moss, no doubt about that. Let me see what other wide receivers we had out there, man. There's been some damn good wide receivers, excellent wide receivers. Shoot. See, it's easy to say Jerry Rice, but then he played in the SWAC, at Mississippi Valley State, and he puts up all these records, and he damn sure put up a lot of records. In fact, Wayne Corbett, who played for the Jets, ends up breaking his records at Hofstra when he was there and didn't even get drafted. But damn. All these receivers, and I can't name one. All these did, it is going through my freaking head. I can say, but Tim Brown, but he ran kickoffs and caught the ball.
Yeah, Tim Brown was really good.
How about Peter Warrick?
He won the Heisman?
Yeah, he won the Heisman.
Yeah, I thought
Tim
so.
Brown.
Yeah.
Peter Warrick.
Peter Warrick was a badass, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I can rock with Peter Warrick as one of the receivers.
I don't know. I just kind of think Brown was more consistent.
Who was more consistent?
I think Tim Brown was more consistent than Peter Warrick.
More consistent than Peter Warrick?
Like he college? Yeah. Consistent.
Woo. Man, I just thought that because the reason why Peter Warrick didn't win the Heisman is because of the nonsense at Dillard's. The stealing with Laveranues Coles and other players and that crap. That's the reason why he doesn't win the Heisman. He had that black eye. So they didn't give it to him because talent-wise, he easily could have won the Heisman without a question. But I could rock with him based on what I've seen from him. And, he played high school ball down here at Manatee. And
is he the best wide receiver out of Florida State?
Wow, you know what? As a collegiate player, because Anquan Bolden did better in the NFL than a lot of these Florida State wide receivers. And he even played quarterback in the Sugar Bowl. So Anquan Bolden was doing everything for them. Man, I think, I don't know, because Laveranues Coles had a pretty solid NFL career too, based on speed alone. And he was the guy that was at Florida State and left Florida State because of what had happened. And Peter Warrick was still the man, even when Laveranues Coles was there.
You take Warrick over Michael Irvin?
The playmaker, man.
In college, man, he embodied swag at the end, man.
Well, let me rock with Michael Irvin, man. I gotta go with my dude, man. Michael Irvin, the playmaker, man. You don't get a name like that for no freaking reason. He got that name going into the NFL and it stuck. My man got the playmaker.
They're losing to Florida State, and he gathered them dudes and said, "We ain't fucking losing this game. Give me the ball."
I still watch the podcast of playmaker now. I got him locked in, man. So I listen to him when he speaks. I go to these Canes games and I see him on the sidelines getting after them, man. Like, he still hasn't lost it, bro. He lost his mind, but he ain't lose with that passion it takes to be a Cane. But damn, the playmaker, man, I almost feels blasphemous to have you bring him up and not even bringing him up myself. Like, damn, I gotta go with the I'll rock that playmaker, man. That dude was just doing it, man. He was just doing it, man. It's not even a bias. He did it. He actually did it. He was out there winning. And was the reason why those damn plays were being made and the games were won.
So we got Moss and Irvin. Who's our third?
Ah, man. As a collegiate, I'm trying to keep that in mind. Collegiate.
Out of people mentioned, for some reason, I'm drawing a blank too. Like, I just thought of my top guys, and I'm thinking it's between Brown and Warrick, maybe.
I guess who? Oh, Tim Brown?
Yeah, Tim Brown.
Man, Because I mean, you're talking about
I
explosive
know. I
plays.
know. We're forgetting a lot of dudes.
Joey Galloway, man, at
With
Ohio
that
State.
4-3.
Yeah, check the
I
ball.
thought about him with that 4-3.
Yeah, he claims it was a 4-2. And after he took off on us with that damn interview, when we interviewed him years old, yo, fellas, I take off. He just disappeared in our interview. Yeah, he does run a 4-2. That guy was out. He was with Dallas at the time. No, he was at Seattle at the time. But anyway, but yeah, man, there's so many freaking receivers, man. Because we didn't watch T.O. a lot when he was playing
You know who I
at
think
all.
would have really gotten strong consideration, but he didn't have all that great a senior season.
Who?
Marvin Harrison Jr.
Oh yeah, you know
He
what?
had injury issues too.
Injury issues. He's continued to have them now in the NFL. I mean,
But
slight
man,
injuries.
that dude made
He
plays.
made play after play. He made it look simple. He just guaranteed you yards. And then you look at his yards per catch, like 17, 18, sometimes 20 plus yards. You know, and then you get Jeremiah Smith walking in here like nothing ever happened as a true freshman, man. And they got him, at least Joel Klatt has him the number one player overall in college football going into this season. Things can change because Ohio State just named their starting quarterback, Julian Sayin. He's going to be their starting quarterback going into the season. So I guess Jeremiah is just going to have to get used to a new quarterback throwing at him, and he'll just make those big plays. You know what? Damn. Only he's small in stature. This is a guy I'm thinking about, but he probably wouldn't make this list. David Palmer. I almost forgot about him at Alabama, number 2. The deuce is loose. I was in Alabama at the time when he was playing. I knew guys in my dorm that knew him and played with him in high school, but you didn't have to worry about what they were telling you because you saw a lot of it on television against Penn State.
Better than Julio Jones?
But I'm saying based on being, you know what?
I'm just asking questions.
You know, let's stick to the point. He was a wide receiver. I'm thinking about him being a wide receiver, but he was also the punt returner, the kickoff returner. Played quarterback once and saved Alabama.
We got Rocky. We got Rocky in primetime to return kicks.
Yeah, and that's true. But I'm just, I guess it's more with him. It's just being a football player, not just exclusively a wide receiver. We're looking for exclusively a wide receiver. Oh, man. And it seems like the hardest damn job in the world right now.
Wasn't Julio dominant in college?
Yeah, he was. He was, man. But man, I could come up with somebody like Marcus Harris, man, from Wyoming, who put up a whole bunch of damn yards. But he played at Wyoming.
Troy Edwards did the same, too.
Who?
Troy Edwards.
That was the guy I was thinking about a minute ago, but I was like, you know what? You might think I'm talking about that Nebraska game when he put up all those ridiculous yards.
That's all right, man. He had a huge game, still lost.
And nasty attitude, by the way. And I know he's not going to hear this, but nasty attitude. We dealt with him in the locker room. I was like, bro, see why you get traded often. Dude, for no reason, just got a chip on the shoulder. I guess this is the thing that happens when you're a shorter guy like Steve Smith also has that chip on the shoulder attitude. But let me see.
What about Neighbors?
Neighbors in college, you know what? I almost take away from college players now because things are so freaking different. But then you look at somebody like Marvin Harrison Jr., who's in today's college ball. We look at him and compare him. But damn, man, you can't really do anything to these players. Everything is targeting, so the defensive players have more to worry about when they hit a player.
I don't know. I think I'm on Tim Brown. He got the Heisman.
You know what? Let's rock with Tim Brown then. Forget about it. I mean, we can look. You know what? Let me see this list that ESPN put together. I guess to see what we may have a common bond with here. Let me see. God, now I can't even find the joint. But ESPN, when they put their list together, of course, you know that they have their own doggone biases, and they seem not to even care about having biases either. Let me see. There it goes. So. Oh, we didn't even do it without quarterback yet.
No, he's going to be last. We got tight end, then quarterback.
Tight end. Ah, damn.
You mentioned him already, in my opinion.
What, the tight end?
Keith Jackson.
Keith Jackson. See, the thing about it, he played in the option.
He went to the wrong school. Yeah, he went to the wrong school, but that dude ran end arounds for touchdowns. He called passes.
Well, he ends up going to that school because Barry Switzer liked his mom's cracklings cornbread. I read the freaking book. He was like, yo, he was good with my mom's, man. That's where we was going. But yeah, Keith Jackson, I mean, as a talent, you can only imagine, and you just kind of plug him and play anywhere, and he's doing a lot of the same things. You know, if they were just, I mean, as far as plays that we saw, and when he averaged, because you run in the wishbone, you're not expecting too many passes. So when a tight end or even a wide receiver averages like an Army Navy, they're averaging 40 yards of reception, 25 yards of reception because of the element of surprise. You know, when you know it that way, instead of just looking at the number, you're like, okay, that's the reason why. But he also had talent, though. Johnny Mitchell was another one for Nebraska that had a hell of a lot of talent.
Yeah, he was really good.
I went to that damn Jets practice when Bill Parcells kicked him off the team right there in front of all of us. That was my first Jets training camp. I was like, holy crap. When we was coming home, man, we listened to it on the radio. Bill Parcells just kicked him off the team. I was like, damn, man. Serious. It was going back and forth. And Bill started yelling something. And Bill's yelling at you in practice, and you turn your back, man, you pretty much gone. And that's what he was doing. He was like going back to the locker room or whatever he was doing. I think he had a shirt off. He had his pads off. He had the tank top deal on, the cutoff. But anyway, yeah, but Johnny Mitchell.
Here's a question for you. Who was better, senior or junior? Kellen Winslow.
As a college player?
Yeah.
Damn. I'm thinking junior only because he had that national spotlight and he had better players thrown to him. His father played for Missouri, I think it was.
Yeah.
I mean, he was the man there, but what else did they have? You know?
I think I agree. I think junior was better in college, but of course senior was better.
Pro careers never even existed compared it to. Yeah, my man spending some time in the joint now. But yeah, man, Kellen Winslow, man, I remember going down to that Canes practice when I went to go interview Larry Coker and Donna Shalala. She was the president of the Canes at the time. And I sat and watched practice, and I saw all of those dudes, including Leon Williams, who was New York's #1 player. And he was like setting all types of records there. #1 player was a linebacker from Canarsie High School. Came down there, and they was treating him like a rag doll. You know, like that's why these dead New Yorkers can't play no ball down here like this, man. Basketball, yeah, football is just not it. But this dude still ended up going. That team was so deep, he still ended up going to the NFL and had a little bit of a career, man. So yeah, but I went down there and watched it. But I saw Kellen Winslow was down there. I mean, all those, man, it was just something. You know, it was just outrageous, man. Just outrageous. Jeremy Shockey, just to see all those dudes.
Who are we going with?
As a quarterback?
No, we got to pick our tight ends too.
Oh, damn. I'm going through all these dead. Shoot, Jeremy Shockey, man. He was as a collegiate player.
I don't know. He was good. I don't. But if I give you Shockey, you gotta give me my quarterback.
Ah, damn. There we go with that again. You can't go with that again, man. Let me take Shockey off the list. Find somebody else. Shoot. Damn, man. We'll plug and play some dude. Damn, man.
I don't know who you're thinking, who I'm going to say. It's probably not who you think.
But damn, man, I may come up with another tight end. That's all I know, man. Shoot. But, I thought about Mark Bruno one time because I liked how he played at Washington. Then he came to the Steelers and, had that knee injury. But in college, he was just a brute. But he was a lot like Jeremy Shockey. Well, Jeremy Shockey's a lot like him. But damn. How can I not come up with a tight end when I need one like right now? Let me see what other tight ends out there. You had Derek Brown from Notre Dame was a damn good tight end in college. Derek Brown was a damn good tight end. I know the Giants took him and ruined his career. But as a collegiate player, we just leave this college, he was a damn good player. That's when Notre Dame was
on the starting team.
Yeah, he on the start.
Ahead of everybody we mentioned.
Damn,
I'd take Shockey before him.
Yeah, I don't know, man. You forgetting how good Derek Brown was? Derek Brown
must have, but
yeah, Derek Brown was freaking good. Another one of those guys I didn't like to see, being a Canes fan and knowing Notre Dame's on the other side. Let me see. Typically, you get those Midwestern teams that have those tight ends. Ohio State, even Wisconsin, Michigan, they come with those damn tight ends. You get the more Todd Heap out in the West Coast. I think it was Arizona.
Heap. Yeah, Jay Novacek.
Jay Novacek came from what? Another Wyoming guy.
Dallas Clark.
You know what? Dallas Clark was hellified though. Oh, my man, Jason Witten. Jason Witten. I'm rocking with him.
You want Jason Witten?
Yeah, I watched him play. And then he goes to the NFL and does a lot of the same. I'll take Jason Witten over Keith Jackson because he played in the passing
right.
offense and he got the ball off. And
Okay.
Keith
All right.
Jackson would have done the same if he was playing with Tennessee, but I'll go by what I see.
All right. I'm not dead set on Keith Jackson, but all right, we go with. So that leaves quarterback, right? We said kicker. So we got 3 wideouts. We're obviously going to be passing the ball, right?
Yeah.
And we got super duper pass rushers, strong ass defensive linemen. Need a guy with a quick release. Dan Marino.
Dan Marino from Pittsburgh. Man, I know about that quick release in the pros. I'm not going to act like I saw him a lot in college, even though those Pitt games were up there in the New York area.
He made Pitt matter, man.
Yeah, he did make Pitt matter. You know, and that's what was let me see, was Johnny Major still there when Dan Marino was there? I know he was there when Tony Dorsett was there, but I think he might have left after that and went to Tennessee. But Dan Marino, quick release, those receivers we have, and then you got little Archie in the backfield that you can dump it off to on a screen or something. Man, you know what? For a dude with a quick release, what more can you do? You can't even get to him. When you got a hell of a pass rush coming after you, man, the dude gets rid of the ball, waste all his time just to get the shit thrown away in like 2 seconds instead of the 4 seconds other quarterbacks use. There were so many quarterbacks I was thinking about. I would not even have thought about you bringing up Dan Marino as a collegiate player because, yeah, he was that good as a collegiate player. The only thing that dropped him in the draft was the nonsense off the field. They think he was a drinker and all that stuff.
When I said I give you Shockey if you give me my quarterback, who did you think I was going to say?
I thought you could probably come up with somebody like Charlie Ward.
Oh, okay. I was just curious.
I mean, because Charlie Ward be just as deserving. His second year, the way that dude played his second year, I had not seen the dude play as calm as he was back there. Everything's falling down. He's still looking down the field. He's not even looking to run. He's looking to buy time with his legs, but he's just looking downfield. Everybody else is going all wild, and he's looking like he's in slow motion. Then he just throws the ball in and makes it happen. I mean, his receiving core with Kes McCorvey, he had Tarek Vanover, he had I think Kevin Knox. He had all these damn ridiculous receivers to throw to. And then Warwick Dunn out of the backfield just assassinated you. So he just had every damn thing. But I can rock with Dan Marino, man, because we just look at his pro career, you just know how he played in college. You know, if not for the nonsense, he would have been one of those top picks as well. He dropped in the draft because of off the field crap.
What did he do?
Well, talking about the drinking and the partying and all that stuff.
Oh, so I wasn't even aware of that.
See, back then, supposedly the character flaws. So today, that's like normal. you drink, you party, you go to strip club. We still take you number 1 overall. Back then, shoot, you went to the strip club, man. They take you in the 7th round, and they had 13 rounds. But there was other quarterbacks I thought about. Of course, there's so many. Tim Tebow was one of the quarterbacks they had on there. And I mean, if you want to use option quarterbacks, if we had an option going on, Tommy Frazier obviously would have been one of those quarterbacks.
We would have to
configure everything too.
We would need a fullback.
A fullback and a tight end.
2 tight ends.
Tight ends.
Yeah.
You know, get rid of receiver. We need him anymore. And you know who I thought about quarterback wise though, because I watched him in person in college, and he's still the best quarterback I've ever seen in person in college. Even though he's supposed to do it against that competition, Steve McNair. I watched him in college 3 times out of the 4 years he was there. I watched him. Watch that dude throw that ball to see him in person, man. I've been in NFL games before, but in college, the team he had was so dominant. It was because of him. His receivers caught the ball. They didn't drop it, man. And he would throw a 40-yard rope for like a 20-yard pass because he threw it across the freaking field. You can hear the pads pop, still like that from across the field. That dude was phenomenal, man. I know people talk about Neil Lomax and how great he was in college, but man, Steve McNair did it in college, and he had me disappointed in the NFL, even though he had a damn good NFL career. I don't think a Hall of Fame career, but he had a damn good NFL career from what I saw and what I expected because of how great I thought he was and how great he actually was. And to not do it as well in the NFL, even though he did do well in the NFL, that just shows you how much I was expecting him to just. I thought he would be transcendent, and to a degree he was. You know, running the way he did and taking the pain the punishment he had. God, man, he was a 210-pound, quarterback back then. I remember in his junior year when he wasn't even the first string All-American team. In his senior year, he was. You had a guy named the kid from Montana. I forgot his name. But anyway, he was from Montana. He was the number one player in the country. And I was like, really? But anyway, they won the national championship. That's probably why. But anyway, that'll be it for this then, man. God, we put too much time in this. 1 hour and 14 minutes so far.
Yeah, I didn't expect it to go this long, but
yeah, but all those damn players, man, a backstory, backdrop for everything as well. So yeah, good job putting all that together in just an hour and 15 minutes going on trying to be 16. So Thursday will be among us soon enough. There's a Monday night football game for people who want to watch preseason Monday night football game. Some people are just rabid about football and just don't care how they get it. But until then, Thursday will be here before you know it. There will be more to talk about with so many steps being taken towards college and the pros. Until then, deuces.